What's good, people? If you're new to the channel, my name is Greg. We do some of everything, and it's all Tesla related. For the most part, it's Tesla related. We have Tesla road trips. We will answer questions. You name it. If it's Tesla related, you can find it here. So if you have not done so already, like the channel, subscribe to the channel. You can turn on notifications, be notified whenever I upload a lot of stuff. I know this is one of the earlier videos, but for this video, I wanted to get right into your questions. What this video is you, the viewer, ask the questions. I scoured the internet. I've looked everywhere to find a ton of questions for you. We're gonna answer some today. If you have a question, you can just put it right below in the comments and I will answer your question. So let's just go on and jump into it, all right? Answering your Tesla questions, volume 1. Casey, Casey says, I'm at 100% state of charge with 30 minutes remaining. Shouldn't it be done charging, or is the battery calibrating? And no matter how long I wait, it still says 30 minutes remaining. I haven't ever seen this before. All right, Casey, a couple things that we got to look at. Number one, first thing you have to know is what type of battery do you have? Do you got the LFP battery? Do you have the lithium iron phosphate battery? Because if you do, you can charge that thing to 100%. You can do that every day. Now, let's say that you have one of the old 18650s or the 2170s or even the future 4680s. I don't know when you're watching this video, Casey, obviously you don't have the 4680s because at the time of this video it's not out yet, but if you have one of those, you're not supposed, it's not recommended to charge to 100% every day. So since we don't charge our Teslas to 100% every day, what happens is your battery, you charge it up to 80, it drains back down. Charge it up to 80, runs back down. When you decide that you're gonna go on a road trip and you go to 100, now what's gonna have to happen is it's gonna have to fill all of those batteries and recalibrate for all of those batteries, and you have individual cells like, all right, we still got this cell over here, we still got this cell over here, and we still got that cell over there. We can be talking over 7,000 individual batteries in your Tesla. So just give it some time. I know you say no matter how long you wait, it keeps saying 30 minutes, just keep waiting. If your road trip is coming up, if you want to test it out, don't set your charge to your scheduled charge to get full right at the time of departure, which is great for people that use that and that, you know, road trip frequently. But if this is your very first road trip or it's been months, if not years since you've done it, I'd probably start it up the night before and just set the limit to 100% and keep it going from there. I hope that answers your question. If not, just leave a little comment below and I'll let you know. Hong says, have you ever seen this? I let my car drive after a couple of miles and it says that the auto steer was unavailable for the rest of the trip. And here's the little comment right here. With that being said, bro, what I need you to do is zoom in on that and look at what it says. All right, whenever you use Autopilot or whenever you use full self-driving, anything like that, you have to hold on to the steering wheel. The car is waiting for some type of input from you via that steering wheel, so it'll know that you're still there, you're still attentive, and you're still paying attention. It's gonna start giving you warnings, it's gonna start blinking blue, depending on which model you have. More than likely, you probably have a 3 or Y, like the majority of us Tesla owners do. It's gonna start blinking blue across the top, it's gonna start kind of yelling at you, it's gonna start getting angry, and if you still don't give that vehicle any type of input, it's gonna shut you down, it's gonna lock you out. Now, how do you get past that? Well, here's what you do. Once you come to a complete stop, put the car in park. When you put it back in drive, it recognizes that this is a new trip. So with that new trip, you'll have all your features back, so on and so forth. But it's not gonna take long. It's gonna start warning you and buzzing you and all of that. And if you read your little thing down in the bottom down there, at the bottom of that little warning, it tells you that you didn't give enough input. So give it more input and you won't have that problem. So for anybody else that's out there using Autopilot or full self-driving, remember to always keep your hands on the wheel. If it starts yanking at you or talking to you, getting angry with you, just give that wheel just a little bit of input and you go from there. If you give it too much input, it's gonna click it off and, you know, you have to restart it, so on and so forth. You get it. I need to do a whole video on full self-driving, and if you watch one of a couple of my road trips, all my road trips I use full self-driving on, and it's a lot of interesting things with full self-driving and phantom braking, and I got all the rules, rights, rules, and regulations on that. I may do a whole video on that, but obviously you can check out some of the other videos that I have. They'll go into great detail and you can see it in real time how it works. So let's keep it moving. Next person is Allie. Allie says, can you buy a 2020 or 2021 with full self-driving like the 2022, or was it a big upgrade, more cameras, etc.? Well, look, all Teslas come ready. They come ready for full self-driving, all right? You buy you a Tesla, it's gonna come ready for it. Now, you have to buy the full self-driving. You can pay 12 grand, at least that's what it currently costs right now in the United States. 12 grand for the full package, or I think it's $199 a month. And but your car will be ready for full self-driving. There's no extra stuff that you have to go and get, da-da-da-da-da. So you'll be ready for it, you'll be good for it. So if you got a 2020 or a 2021, I personally have a 2021 Model 3 long range. I use full self-driving in it. It's perfectly fine. I know people with 2020s, a 2019, even a 2018, they have full self-driving. They got it a whole lot cheaper than I did. The 2018, it was like 6 grand, 5 or 6 grand in. But it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Buy the Tesla. Enjoy the Tesla. Love the Tesla. And welcome to the Tesla family, baby. We here for you. And if you have any more questions, just comment right down below. I'll get to your questions on the next video. I appreciate you, Allie. Joy says, does anyone have a coating over your Tesla? Pros and cons to protect your car. All right, well, there's a whole lot of opinions on this. I do and I don't, right? I know you're saying, what are you talking about? So I didn't get my whole car wrapped. I didn't. I got the front end wrapped. I got my rocker panels wrapped. I got my mirrors wrapped, because those are the parts of the car that's gonna come in contact with a lot of road debris, right? I don't have my trunk wrapped because most of the time I'm driving forward and wind's gonna go over the car and you're not really gonna get a lot of rock chips in the back. So I didn't spend the money on that. Yes, I think it's a great investment, but you have to also understand that I might be a different type of car owner than you, right? Like, we didn't go cheap on our cars. We spent good money, and I bought mine brand new. And even if you buy it used, you're spending good money because they're just as expensive, if not more expensive than the new ones. We spent good money, and I want to protect my car, and I want my car to look great. My last car that I owned, I still have it. It's been 12 years. I still own that thing. And more than likely, I'm gonna own this Model 3 for years to come. Years and years and years to come. So with that being said, I want my car to look nice in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. And so I did the paint protection film just to protect mine. I know I'm gonna road trip it. I've already road tripped it. I have videos of me road tripping this thing. The likelihood of rocks splashing up on my car really, really high. And so I took it upon myself to put paint protection film on mine so I can have it protected and it looks good no matter where I go. If you choose not to do that, it's fine, because I know there's people watching and saying, bro, it's just a car. And you're absolutely right. It's just a car. If you don't care, it's you. It's your money. It's your car. However, my car to me is not just a car. It's my car. So I treat it the way I treat it. I did it. Hope you do what's best for you. We can keep going on from there. Dan has a similar question. I've been told that I need to be careful on what types of car washes I take my Model 3 through. What do you know about this rumor? Well, again, a lot of opinions out there. It comes down to personal preference, right? So I use touchless car washes. That's my thing. I use touchless car washes. You can have the bristles and all that other stuff in the regular ones, and there's a car wash mode so the Tesla can go through it. I just don't like paint swirls and all of those things. I just don't, man. I just don't. Those brushes that are spinning around, they're really, really, really rough on your paint. Even if you don't own a Tesla, like there's all the talks about Tesla having softer paint, the paint's cheaper and blah, blah, blah. I own an old beater. I don't like putting that thing through bristles either, but it's my personal preference. If you are taking yours through a regular brush car wash, I won't hate you. And if you're saying, yo, I don't have swirls on mine, here's what I challenge you to do. Get a flashlight. You can go to the trunk of your car, get the flashlight, turn it on, shine it down right on the trunk, and look at the swirls that's in there. That's not how your paint comes standard. Some people will say, I don't care. No one's gonna be out with a flashlight and shining light directly into it. Well, it comes down to how your paint reflects the light, and if the light is reflected or if the light is refracted from the sun. I want mine to be reflecting clean, straight back, no type of refractions. That way when I walk by, that thing is almost a black mirror, just bling, bling. And so that's me. If that's not you and you just want it to look clean and not have dirt on it, that's fine. They'll still look good either way. I just, you know, if it's a 99% or if 100%, I'm gonna go for the 100% every time. So I use touchless car washes. Obviously, the best thing to do all the way around is to do the 3-bucket challenge. There's our 3-bucket method. There's plenty of videos all over YouTube that explain how to do that. The 3-bucket method, you're washing it by hand. There's some other things I might talk about a little later when it comes down to remembering what to do. Matter of fact, let's just go and address it now. If you're going to do the 3-bucket challenge, right? There are 3-bucket, it's not a challenge, the 3-bucket method. Don't cheap yourself, all right? Don't use regular drying towels for one. Don't do that. It's gonna still swirl your paint. You might as well have went through the drive-through car wash. Number 2, they say, yeah, use microfiber, but watch your microfiber towels. Don't go to one of the big box stores, buy the cheap microfiber towels, because on the edge of the microfiber towels, that little lining that's holding the edge together, most of the time made out of like a really thin, almost like fishing wire, and it's gonna leave swirls in your paint. So you might as well have just went through the drive-through brush car wash. I use edgeless microfiber towels. Very, very, very important. Also, I told you I'm kind of a stickler about my paint. If I'm drying my car and it hits the ground, it's in the trunk until I go home and I wash it. You don't use any detergent on your microfiber towels, none of that. So it's a whole thing. How complicated do you want to be? How crazy are you about your paint? Or like I said in the previous video, just get the paint protection film and you don't have to worry about that anymore. Simple. So front of my car, I can drive with whatever. I don't, but I can drive with whatever. You get the whole car wrapped, you can. How much money are you willing to spend? You probably spent at least 60 grand at minimum for your Tesla. How much more are you willing to spend on it? Me, I'm willing to spend an extra 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 if I have to. But again, personal preference. Tina says, oh no, wait, Blake says, I purchased my Model Y used with 800 miles. Generally speaking, it's a decent dealership. They really wanted to detail the car prior to taking ownership. Looks like we're still talking about car washes here. I expressed several times to be extra careful as the paint is very delicate on Teslas. They did not listen. Now I've got deep swirls everywhere. Question. Have you had any success with any products removing swirls, especially deep ones, on your car? Okay, so let's wrap this up here. There's a bunch of products out there. A bunch of products. I don't have a product sponsor. I'll just tell you who I use personally. I use 2 guys. I use Chemical Guys and I use McGuire's, 2 of my favorites. You use whoever you want and whoever works for you. I'm not going to go into detail about either one of the companies because I'm not getting paid for it. You can look them up on YouTube. They both have an extensive amount of videos up on how to do this and how to do that. But let's talk about the question at hand. When it comes down to removing paint swirls or removing swirls, it's an undertaking, right? Like, you're gonna have to wash the car, get the car extremely, extremely, extremely clean. Then you're gonna have to go back to, you got the clay bar to remove all the metal pieces and blah, 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 all the little iron and iron phosphates and all that stuff. So you're gonna have to clay bar it. After you clay bar it, you're gonna have to put a layer of film on top, and you got to buff that off, and another layer, and buff that off, and then another protection on top of that to prevent it in the future, blah, blah, blah. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. But if you're getting paint protection film, 1, you won't get the swirls. Number 2, more than likely, the place that you got your paint protection film also either has a detailer or contracts with a detailer that'll do that, because they're gonna clean your car before they put the film on. So find a place that you either got your film, well, you got swirls, you don't have film. If you're gonna get film, find that place or a place that provides that and say, hey, here's what's going on. I made the mistake when I got mine. I thought microfiber towels were all the same. This is how I'm able to make this video and be honest with you. I bought some of the big box stores microfiber towels and had swirls all over my joint. And I'm like, I've never been through one of those bristly car washes. And that's when I found out about the towel, so on and so forth. So when I got my paint protection film, the detailer said, I got you, don't worry about it. I'll clay bar this thing, I'll buff it all out. And guess what? It's beautiful. It's better than the first day I got it. When I first went and picked my vehicle up, it did not look as good as it does now. Then I went out and I just bought all the stuff myself, so I do it in my own garage and I don't have to worry about it. I also don't use cheap microfiber towels anymore. Blah, 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 blah. Thank you, Blake, for your question. Really good question. Let's keep going. Tina, my car froze My screen froze on my Tesla Model Y. Any tips on how to get it to work? Yes, on your steering wheel, there are 2 jog wheels. Hold those jog wheels down. Hold them down, hold them down, hold them down. You'll see your screen, it'll go black, Tesla emblem will pop back up. That's a reboot. That's a hard reboot. You do that hard reboot. Once it reboots, you should be good to go. If that does not work, which I'm almost certain that it's gonna work unless there's something else that you didn't tell me because it's like a 2-sentence question. If that reboot don't work, you're gonna have to call the service center. You can make an appointment through your app. You can get on the horn with them, go to the service center in your area, schedule an appointment with them. They'll get you in, they'll get it worked out. But that reboot should work. Side note, for anybody that's having any type of like computer issues or stuff like that that's going on, funny glitches or whatever, you don't know how to fix it, start with the reboot. Start with the reboot. I have a bunch more questions, but I'm gonna leave those for the next video. Like, if you learned anything or if you have questions, like this channel, subscribe to this channel, whatever you need to do it to stay in contact with me, all right? There's volume 1 down, volume 2 is coming. I appreciate you. Also, check out my road trips. Check out my road trips. I got some really good videos on those. I will see y'all next time. Y'all be safe. I'm out of here.